Hey Sam, how's it going today?
It's going pretty good.
Good. So this is just our little follow-up meeting from a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Just wanted to touch base with you. What are two things that are better since the last time we met, either in your home life or with school?
Well, my grades are, even though they're not quite where I want them to be, they've definitely gotten better, which is something that I'm pretty proud of.
Yeah, definitely. I think any kind of improvement, whether it's boosting up your grade, a letter grade, or just by percentages, some progress is definitely something to be celebrated.
Yeah. And then the other thing is I definitely would say my sense of belonging has gone up a little bit, I guess.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. What's one thing that you can remember specifically that you did during this week to make it better?
Well, as I said, last time we talked, when I'm sick, I definitely get a lot of anxiety about talking to my teachers. And so I've definitely worked on trying to communicate with them better about assignments and studying for tests. And I think that has definitely helped with staying on top of things.
Definitely. And I know that can be hard when you got 6 different teachers here. You got your English teacher, your math teacher, history, science, PE, and art, and they're all different. So I'm sure that takes a lot of coordination to be able to communicate with them.
Yeah.
Now that you've seen a little bit more success in these last couple weeks, is there anything that you think that might get in your way of doing well in school?
Yeah, I mean, although my sense of belonging, at school, has gone up, I think, at home, it's still not exactly a great situation, I guess.
Okay. So what would your ideal situation be, your ideal home life? What would that look like to you?
I think, getting along with my parents better than I am right now, and listening to them more, and, staying on top of my chores and stuff like that.
Okay. So you think that, by keeping up with your chores, basically maybe doing what it is that they ask of you, that you would have a better relationship with your parents? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea. I think that's a really good goal to set, to maybe, focus on listening to what it is your parents have to say. Like that would definitely improve your home life.
Yeah.
So really quick, I want to go over your grades, just kind of compare them to last time.
Okay.
So for English, the last time you came in, you were at a 63%. Your goal was an 80%. So is your goal still at that 80%, or do you think it, can be improved even further?
I think that, I'm 80%, I think is still a good goal.
Yeah, I think that's a great goal. I got my pen here. Write that down. 80%. So the thing that you were going to work on from last week was staying on top of your reading. Is that something that you were able to manage?
Yeah, I think that, I talked with my teacher, and we kind of came up with a plan about how better to stay on top of it when I'm not feeling well, and I think that has definitely improved. I felt less anxious and less like there's so much to do when I can break it up.
Okay, definitely. I can imagine it could be pretty overwhelming when you're sick to try to get any schoolwork done.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to be celebrated. Would you like for that to be your goal still, to just stay on top of your reading, to continue to improve your grade, or is there another goal that you would like to set? That's up to you.
My test scores have been, okay, I guess, but I think that I definitely can do better, so I think that, maybe getting together with some friends and, doing a study group would help me.
So getting a study group going, tutoring session, it's a good idea. I think it's always helpful to get a group of peers that know what it is that they're doing, just collectively thinking together. So math last time was at a 45. It's up 10% at a 55. And your goal last time was a 70. I think I think that's still a pretty reasonable goal. Do you still want your goal to be 70%? Or do you
Yeah.
think you can even improve that?
No, I think that, I mean, I don't know, I think that 70% is a realistic goal for me.
Yeah, it's definitely good to be
Finish up the
realistic. 70%. And your goal for that class was to touch base on missing assignments. I think you had a couple missing assignments in that class. Is that still your goal, or do you want to kind of change your focus?
I think that, that's what helped me get my grade up was, catching up on those missing assignments. I think my new goal probably would be to actually try and get ahead in case I do get sick. That would definitely help me.
Okay. So get ahead. Maybe you can get the course syllabus or something like that, so you can stay ahead. Just kind of work on assignments ahead of time.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. Okay. History. We had a 60% the last time in history. You got 65 now. So there's a 5% improvement there. Your goal percentage is a 75. And I think one of the things that you had mentioned was to get notes from friends. Is that still something that you think is going to benefit you? Or do you think you should set a new goal?
No, I think that has helped me. There hasn't been a ton in the history class, since we last spoke that has allowed me to sort of catch up with that grade, but I think that, staying on top of the notes and really studying them will definitely help me get there. I think that I also actually would like to get a better grade than what I set my goal for. I mean...
Okay, so instead of a 75, you think you could shoot for maybe an 80%?
80,
okay,
yeah.
That's awesome. 80%, there you go. Okay. For science, last time you had an 88. It is up 2% to a 90, so you got an A in science right now. So you've exceeded your goal. Do you want to continue on, or would you like to stay at that 90%?
I mean, in an ideal world, I'd like to increase it, but, I'm obviously happy with an A.
Definitely. I would be happy with an A too.
The class, that subject comes naturally to me, so...
Let's see. And for science, you said, that was one thing you said, science comes naturally, so just basically maybe continuing on with, the course that you're on, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. What is it that you're doing in that class that makes you successful?
I mean, my science teacher is definitely the one he's been the easiest to talk to, and I think that, that coupled with it coming naturally to me has allowed me to do well in that class, and I think that, 90 would be my expectation, but I think honestly I'll probably finish with a higher grade just because of how I've been doing.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah, it is kind of stressful sometimes, to be able to focus on schoolwork when you have a bunch of other stuff to focus on. So
yeah,
the fact that your teacher is empathetic and able to work with you is definitely something that could make that easier for you.
Yeah.
So, PE. Last time PE was at a 70, it was a solid C. And it dropped a little bit. It dropped down to a 50%. And I noticed in the remarks in the grade book that the teacher said you might not be dressing down as much. What's one thing that might lead you to dress down more or participate more?
Honestly, I think that the issues kind of that I've been dealing with at home have sort of just made me feel kind of like less energetic and lethargic and not really made me want to participate in PE, especially because it's the last class of the day and it's right before I go home, and so it just, I don't know, I get kind of stressed out.
Yeah. But okay, so you think that working on that home life situation, maybe doing those chores and listening to what it is that your parents have to say would maybe change that a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, put that down. And for PE last time, your goal was an 85%. What would you like your goal to be now? I know that we've only got a couple weeks left in the school year, so there's not much time to really put in a lot more effort in that class or a lot more work. can you do makeups maybe in that class?
Yeah,
Makeup assignments?
Yeah, I think that, talking to my my PE teacher definitely can help, but I don't know that goal is, I can attain that by the end of the year.
And it's good to be realistic because, we set these goals with the hope to meet them, and if we're not necessarily able to meet those goals, we sometimes have to adjust them according to our progress, the progress that we're at. So, what do you think would be an attainable goal? Last time it was 85%.
I would say like a 75. I mean,
75%?
Yeah, I would be, I wouldn't be thrilled with it, but, as long as I pass all my classes and I show that I've made an improvement, I think that, that is fine with me.
Definitely. I agree. One class that I did forget to mention was your art class. Last time you had an 83. Right now you're at an 85. So you had some improvement there. Your goal is a 90%. Is that still your goal?
Yeah, I think that's something that I can get up.
And your goal last time was to meet after school with your teacher. Have you been able to do that since?
I did that once, and it definitely helped with that small bump. And so I think that if I can focus on meeting with her more, then that will definitely help me.
Definitely. So we'll just keep that as our goal, just continuing to meet.
Yeah, I think that,
school.
I only met her once in 2 weeks, so I think that if I meet with her maybe twice a week, that would help me.
Some more FaceTime, definitely.
Yeah.
So I just want to go over your GPA with you. Do you know how GPA is calculated?
No, I don't.
So you have 6 classes, so each letter grade, so an A is worth 4 points, a B is 3 points, C is 2 points, and a D is 1 point.
Okay.
And an F has 0 points. So I just want to calculate your grade to make sure that you kind of have an understanding of what that is. So for English, you currently have a C, so that is 2 points. Math, you have a 55, so that is 0 points. D is 1 point. You have a 90 in science, so that'll bring you up pretty good. That's 4 points. PE is at a 50 currently, so that's 0, and art is at an 85, so that's 3. So we got 1, 2, 3, 7, so 10 divided by 6. Let's get that math here. 60, so that is like a 2 point. No, that's a 1.73 or 1.83, excuse me. So, in order to be eligible to graduate, you have to have a 2.0. So I think that it would be a good idea to put some emphasis on grades that were pretty close to improving.
Yeah.
So I think you would have a lot of benefit. What grades do you think you can get up the easiest? Because you only need 2 more grade points to get a 2.0.
I mean the science one, right? Well, no, because we're at a 90.
Yeah, science is at a 90. History is at a 65. Math's at a 55. PE's at a 50. Art's at an 85, and English is a 70.
I mean, I think the math grade is something that I can definitely work on easily as long as I communicate with my math teacher and try to make up some of those assignments.
Okay. So that would bring you, if you got your math grade up to a D, that would bring you up 1 point. So you would just need 1 more grade point to get a 2.0.
What I'd like is I think that math grade I could get to a C, but ultimately I definitely don't want any failing grades.
Yeah, definitely. I think you could easily get that PE grade up if you checked in with your teacher and did some makeup assignments.
Yeah.
And maybe, if there's anything that I can do as far as advocating for you in that class, maybe if you're comfortable, your teacher and I can get together, or the 3 of us can get together, and we can come up with a game plan to make sure that you graduate.
Yeah, I think that, that's definitely a conversation I would be more comfortable with being a part of, because I think that, this is something that I want to learn, especially for heading into college, and, being proactive. I mean, it certainly would make me more comfortable with you being there, but
Definitely.
I think I would like to, take that extra step to try to communicate with my
I'm
teachers.
definitely willing to do that. So let's go ahead and let's see. Today is Thursday. How about Monday next week? We set something up during Mr. Tate's prep period, which is third period. So I'll go ahead and pull you out of. Let's see. I'll put you out of history third period for a little bit, and we can meet then.
Okay.
Before we go, I just kind of want to circle back and touch back on that sense of belonging. You sounded a little, you sounded like there was some improvement made, which is, definitely something to celebrate. But there was a little bit of uneasiness in your voice. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself as far as your sense of belonging in the school? 1 or a 0 rather, being, completely out of touch, not feeling like you belong, and 10, like, you're completely involved with everything.
I would say like a 6, probably.
A 6? Okay. That's definitely better than where we were last time. So what could we do to get that up to an 8 or a 9 or maybe even a 10? Is there anything that you become involved in? Any kind of activities that you've found some joy in that you can maybe pursue a little more?
Yeah, I mean, I joined the Model United Nations Club, and that's definitely, I've made a lot of friends in that class or in that club, and I think that, maybe joining another one, as we finish up the school year, or just actually maybe just getting more involved in the Model United Nations one, because we have a conference next weekend, so I think that would be something that I could definitely.
Okay. Definitely. I think that's a great idea, Sam. So, looks like we've got, some game plans set aside. We have, we're going to work on the way we interact with parents, work on our chores a little bit. We're going to work on that math grade quite a bit, so we can get you up to a 2.0 to get you to graduate. And then maybe, maybe even run for office for Model UN.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be. But I'm going to go ahead and touch base with you on Monday for that meeting with Mr. Tate, PE teacher, and then probably that following Monday so we can see where our grades are at. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, thank you.